Hey, how's it going, everyone? So today we are going to be looking at the most simple way to invest in dividend funds on M1 Finance. Now, this is going to be super simple and super easy. And just in case anybody is here watching in the comment section mentioning that you can, yes, get higher yield dividends if you are, one, investing in individual companies and or even REITs in general. But what a lot of people don't also take into consideration is that maybe a lot of people don't want to invest in a lot of these individual companies and make things really difficult for themselves. So what we're going to do is hop here on the screen and I'm going to take you guys to the research tab. Now, on the research tab, they have a couple different little sectors over here. They have the overall news, they have the stocks, which you can buy into individual stocks. And like I mentioned, yes, you can get higher yield dividends with different companies if you invest individually. But we're here talking about the simple form of just having dividends earned without having to do a lot of work. So that takes us to the funds category over here. Now here in the funds category, you can actually see the dividend yield section over here, and there's a lot of different companies and there's a lot of different numbers you're gonna see. Now for me personally, I actually like investing in something that I know has a long track record. So there's a couple different great funds that you can go with. One of the ones that I love the most are going to be Vanguard funds. They're the ones that I personally invest in for my retirement, and then a little bit in my M1 Finance, and even a little bit in my Robinhood too. So I want to show you guys what you can be earning. So there's a couple different funds here. There's this fund right over here called the Vanguard REIT ETF. So effectively, this is going to be investing in pretty much a majority of the REITs out there. So this makes it so you don't have to really gamble with a lot of different companies, and the yield has been pretty solid for a very long time. 3.20%, which is a pretty solid yield. I mean, you're typically wanting to look at anything between 3 to 4.5%. Anything above that, you always want to be a little bit cautious with, just as somebody who's invested for a little while. So in this fund, they have 190 different holdings, which is a lot of different companies meshed into one fund, so that way you can be very diversified in your REITs and still get paid out a really good average dividend yield. So this fund has been around since September 22nd, 2004. So they actually even went through the Great Recession, which is awesome in my opinion, because that also gives you a really good insight of how they're doing even past, times of really difficult, years. And then the expense ratio is a little bit higher at 0.12%, but again, that just means that you are getting something that you don't have to do a lot of research with, and they've done a lot of great work for you by putting all these different companies together and really diversifying your REIT portfolio. So before we continue on, if you're getting value out of these videos, make sure you're hitting that like button down below, so that way it helps me continue to make more content like this. And then if you don't have M1 Finance already, make sure you click on the show notes down below, so that way you can get started with the M1 Finance platform, which has the free trading and fractional shares, which is what I absolutely love about it. And that way you can get started with your investing future. Now, the other fund that I really like when it comes to dividend investing, if you want to make things really easy for yourself, is going to be the Vanguard High Yield Dividend Index Fund. So this one is VYM. And right now they're trading in for $91.19 a share, but their dividend yield is 3.09%. The expense ratio is only 0.06, which is pretty good. A little bit higher than just the overall index funds, but if you're wanting a high dividend yield, this is actually pretty good right here. A total holdings of 425, and it's been going on since November 9th of 2006. So again, also really, really good. You can just see here consistency with their dividend payouts. So they're investing in companies that are paying out at a good rate, and 3.09% is also really good. Like I mentioned earlier, anywhere from 3 to 4.5%, you are going to be really solid with your dividend income. So that way you can have money coming in. You could either be reinvesting it or taking that money in as income. So that way you can utilize it for other things. Now, of course, as you saw here, there are a lot of other companies that you can be investing in. Some of them have even higher yields, some of them even lower than what we just talked about. But I think for what you're getting in the value in the funds and the actual dividend payouts, I think those two funds are going to be really solid ones to go with, especially for somebody who's beginning and maybe doesn't have as much experience with investing in individual companies. Now, if you want to keep on learning more about M1 Finance, such as creating pies or investing in individual companies instead of your overall pie, check out my videos right over here to help you continue on your financial journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.